Staying with us, like Abimbola did mention before that break, we're already in the season of politics and we are beginning to see defections here and there, alignments, realignments, people moving from one political party to the other, all in a bid to get power come 2027. So what does this portend for the polity, for our democracy, and these people that are jostling for power, are they really coming up, are they really coming out to serve the people, to improve the quality of life of the people, or they are doing so for their selfish interests? We'll be having this conversation with Mr. Akin Fatunke, MD CEO, Kronikla Associates, and is also a communications consultant. It's a pleasure to have you.
Always a pleasure to be here.
And you are dressed like a politician. Are you one of them?
Yes, because we are all politicians.
Right.
And I can see politics in you. You have the APC, the PDP, the Labour, everything.
You have the toga of all the
And there's also a
parties.
pretense. You are not using a tie to say that, look, you are for the common masses. But we all know different. Thank you, Ajibola. Really
All right, you're
appreciate
very
it.
welcome.
Thank you.
This gale of defections and political realignments that we are beginning to see as we approach the 2027 general elections, what do you make of it? Are they actually moving from one political party because they have ideology or because they have the interest of the people at heart? Or is it all about power and their personal interest?
Yes, Ajibola, I will say in 27 years, Bibbs, not entirely unexpected, especially what we saw in the last 10 years. In more matured democracies, you see coming together to share, spoils of office, but coming with very strong determination, with a culture of a vision, of a mission, but no values. I'm sorry, but I have to say it. When I say no values, of course, it's more about a race kind of thing. Politics is who gets what, where, and when. And in any case, you then leave the polity worse than it was, so to speak. Suddenly, you are little or nothing, and then you suddenly became something. It's the main reason why I said it's devoid of values. But in terms of what really began in 2015, the earth tremor that came with Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a plank with the ACN, and the late former President Muhammadu Buhari of the CPC, for the very first time, where you will be having the Southwest shaking across Lokoja to the north, it made a statement. Before that time, it usually would be the Southeast and the North. Of course, what we call the Awolowo ideology, who also tried, was kind of denied. So I will say it's more, you use the word grabbing power. Yeah, maybe that is the word to use. But looking for power at all costs, and then when we get the power, we then take a decision as to what we are going to do with the power. So I will put it 95%. I think I'm fair.
Very fair.
95% reason why you are having all the coalition, centrifugation that we are seeing. More of motion without movement, because if the values are not there, is basically let's go grab this power because we are hungry, because we are angry, because even the present government's power could not have been saintly. Perhaps they will be doing exactly the same thing. You call it shame of shame, maybe. The same thing.
Which was what they did when they were in the opposition.
Now.
Yeah.
Now.
But before you answer that, let me quickly just chip this in. And I'm glad Jibola just mentioned that, because I was going to ask you that before 2015, of course, there were also defections, there were coalitions, there were mergers. But why is this particular time different? Or what's making this motion without, what did you call it?
Movement.
Motion without
Movement.
movement. Why is it different from what we had at that time, where more or less we had people of like minds coming together? It was more like a magnet, and then people just wanted to come together and form a better movement. But what we're seeing now is more or less like, well, we might not form better movement. We can use what is already on ground to still get to where we're going to. So if you look at pre-2015 and what we have currently on ground, what is the difference?
BIMS, for all intents and purposes, for real political theorization, what was different was that then it was organic.
Right.
And the man that is speaking big grammar will have to
just break it.
try and interpret it. It was organic because it was a decision that followed the metamorphosis process. Give birth, struggle, wait, surely wait a little bit. It's not going to be BIMS coming with her watts and Ajibola coming with his all. And then, of course, me saying that I'm older than the two of you. I mean, you put me, and I'm happy you put me in the middle on all that kind of thing. And organic in the sense that some people wanted power, like the coalition is looking for power now. But some people were ready to wait. Please, when people make an attempt to wipe and do a tabula rasa on history and say we should forget history, no, not all of us can forget history.
Right.
Take you back to 2007. The whole of this process started in 2007. As at that time, the incumbent, who is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, was a governor in Lagos State.
Right.
Elections took place. At the end of that elections, the PDP, under Obasanjo, who was a central figure, had 31 states. AMPP had 4 states. The only opposition we had then was what? Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not say, well, I had 1 state, well, I did well, or I didn't do well. I
want to jump ship. Okay.
Not even talking of jumping ship. He was going to go organic. By 4 years later in 2011, from just 1 state, you call it Okolomo or whatever it is, or the last man standing, they had moved to 6 states.
Right.
In 4 years. As at that time, if you want to justify or juxtapose to what we are seeing now, of course, as far back as that time, Bola Tinubu shouldn't be saying, or should really be talking about him be president as at 2011. But what did Bola Tinubu do in 2011? He said, well, I am going to be very calculative, my definition of being organic now, allow others to, recognizing the unique environmental condition that we call Nigeria. Nigeria is made up of different tongues, different tribes, different religions, different dispensation. You know, we are skilled heavily when you look at education and say, look, I may have the education, I may have the exposure, but you know what? Let us copy. Let us copy from then PDP, who had an unwritten agreement that the thing should oscillate between North and South. And he gave the Northerners.
Right.
Now, by 2015, the Okolomo, the only one standing that has now moved to 6, including Lagos, Ogun, Osun, and Ekiti, had moved on to about 21 states. Is that not telling you something? That Surulere, waiting game pace. They made an attempt. like the coalition is making an attempt here in 2015 to come together. It didn't work. It didn't work until about 2025. What we don't have in the present dispensation, yeah, okay, so they wanted power, so you wanted power. You had to have something that we call the waiting game for you to be able to calculate and do what you call stratagem, and then get back to what you are trying to hint at. Bola Tinubu, I'm sorry, this is not about Bola Tinubu, okay? Yeah. Now, he could, like others, have jumped ship.
Right.
Not only did he not jump ship, he stayed put, fight. By 2015, you knew what happened within the first term of Buhari. Virtually sidelined. Yeah. His boys, his ladies that he had perched on their shoulders, went on, and he kept quiet. What we are not seeing in this current dispensation with opposition is everybody wants to be
at the center.
To do the cooking, yes, without clear-cut, Ajibola, you mentioned it, ideology. What are you going to do differently? I, for instance, would have just loved a situation where we are suffering, and one of the reasons why we are suffering is the fact that May 29, 2023, subsidy must go. So, what are you going to do May 29, 2027? I'm going to make an announcement. Subsidy must come back. Floating of the Naira. The Naira is now 1,300, projected to be 1,400 by IMF in terms of stability. I am going to say, look, my exchange rate should be about 400, 800. I'm going to just make an announcement. Then people will begin to ask you, how are you going to be able to do that? Do you have enough reserves? When you say you are going to bring back the subsidy,
what do you want to do?
We are now going to be looking at long queues. Or is it that you are going to say, look, fair enough. Yes, I'm in the opposition. I believe I can do it better than you. I will first of all say the truth. And the truth is the fact that we are moving in the right direction. But I'm not seeing some capacity, I'm not seeing some character, I'm not seeing some values, I'm seeing some corruption. One of the first things I'm going to do, for instance,
so you're not preferring solution as opposition. That's what you're saying, that's what they should actually be.
You are not only preferring solution, you appear as if you don't even have a solution. And if you don't have a solution, how then do we trust that you are going to get there? What is the track record? Who is going to be the central person? In 2007, later President Obasanjo was take it or leave it, was the central person. We better just continue to leave it until the man decided about much later to tear his
voter card, membership
when
card.
he tore his membership card, so they are not trying to make an amend. That is what you did not find
in this one.
In President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay.
Now, is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu a saint? Would not have been. Ali Baba and the 40 thieves. If you like, call Ali Baba as a bad thief. But you know, those were the other ones that are supposed to be coming up with the kind of solution. I'm going to say, for instance, we've been spending 3% as a budget in education. And this man that has brought a lot of discomfort to us has come up with NEL Fund. When I come there, I'm going to tell students, once I come in there, I'm going to cancel NEL Fund. I will replace NEL Fund by, and if you replace NEL Fund by, means that there's an opportunity cost. I am going to wipe off insecurity. How are you going to try and wipe off all those insecurities? So because we don't have those strategic direction, people who can think and people who can see through, critical thinking will begin to now question you. Beams, you made a statement just now. It was like that then. So why can't we believe them? Okay, fair enough to believe. But you are going to be a foolish man or a foolish woman to want to attempt to continue to do the same thing
over and over again.
and expecting different results.
Right.
Mr. Fatunke,
Position.
I started this conversation by saying that you addressed like a politician because all your submissions this morning seem to be tilting towards the APC. I don't know if you are a member of that party anyway.
No.
But that's not my question.
No, I'm not a member of that party.
The coming together of these strange fellows.
Bedfellows, yeah.
Should we take it with a pinch of salt and feel that, okay, it's not going to ruffle the feathers of the ruling party at all? Because we have political bigwigs in the ADC. Of course, the PDP is still there as well. We have the former vice president, the former Senate president, former governor of Osun State, former governor of Rivers State, and a couple of others. Should we just take their lamentations with a pinch of salt? Or it is time for the ruling party to sit up as well and make amends in some areas?
Intelligent question. But I would rather say, taking it with a pinch of salt, no. It takes too much salt. It's not even good for your health. So I would say, take it with the Himalayan salt. A salt that should naturally be good for you. Ajibala, in business school, one of the things that you are taught is that talent cannot be enough. Money cannot be enough. Longevity cannot be enough. What can really be enough is a potpourri of a little bit of here, a little bit of there, a little bit of in between, a little bit of patience, a little bit of vision that will take you there. And I hear you loud and clear. The kind of politics we play in this part of the world that we all call democracy, okay? Because if you look at it, Ijibola, you are going to say, yes, is it democratic? I don't think we are practicing democracy in the way democracy should be practiced. I also think we're lying to ourselves that we are practicing democracy. What we are really doing is a coalition. Okay. People coming together, you call them bigwigs, who will say, go, they will go. Stop, they will stop. Do this, they will do that. Not just politicians, also religious leaders, and all that. But Nigeria, fortunately, is evolved, even if it's just 2 steps, not just one. Not maybe it's just 2 steps. In the sense that we are seeing how things work out elsewhere. Without necessarily conceding, let's look at your premise. And so we have an Atiku and Abubakar over 80. We had El Rufai who helped Bola Tinubu at the last time, and then 1 or 2 things happened according to us. We had a Malami who also had his own was and all, now becoming the center of attraction. We have a Peter Obi, who ruled Anambra State for 8 years, and who was now the spike of the obedience movement. Right? And then we have Rotimi Amechi, who said that, yes, me and you, Bola Tinubu, were coming from the same place. But Bola Tinubu, you can't run around the stadium. I can run around the stadium. Is that what
it is about?
Now,
we have Rabiu Kwakwanso.
Now. While you are saying that, Ajibola, you must also, it's like a game of chess. What you have analyzed looks straight, but is blinded to the other side. And so, Bola Tinubu, for instance, or his camp, 2 don't have big men. The man who now controls how many governors suddenly is not somebody we are now going to say is more than a force to be reckoned with. Or a man who had his hands behind his back in 2023 against all odds and still beat other people silly. You may say the elections was neither here or there, and went through the court system and beat you, and suddenly will now be the Jagaban of Africa, not Jagaban of Nigeria now, and he will just allow you to just go like that. What you needed with all those big men is for all those big men to borrow from his playbook. What is there to borrow? Let all of us come together. Let's agree on fairness. let's, unlike the Bourbons of ancient regime in France, say we have learned something from what happened in there. Because apart from the tearing of Obasanjo's ticket, in my mind, Atiku was also going to now then say, look, there was something like a written agreement. A Fulani has been there for 8 years. I'm also a Fulani. I want to follow. It's not going to help. And then, of course, the Wiki and the G5 thing cropped up.
The PDP.
Since we have all learned our lessons, can we therefore take a decision and say neither me, nor you, Jibola, nor you, Beams, that we can look for somebody neutral, maybe much younger, and then put this person on our shoulders
and carry that person.
And allow this person to, but you will not want to do that because you are blinded by the greed and opportunism that it has to be me and me and
alone.
Me and me alone.
Okay, so let's quickly look at, we've been talking about the politicians here and their mindsets oftentimes.
Yeah.
Let us look at this from the part of the voters. And then looking at jumping from one political party or defecting from one political party to the other, in the minds of the voters or to the appeal of the voters, is this a sense of betrayal or is this a strategy of survival politically?
Beams. You and
I'm just asking.
Oh, you are asking
in the minds of those who should be voting.
But you are asking the right questions. But I tell you, Beams, the answer lies within you. With the analogy I want to make, that you and I take a decision for whatever reason that we have to fly to Abuja to this evening. I've got to join a plane. And while we are waiting for the plane, the usual Nigerian thing, delay, cancellation, say, look, just wait for eventually 6 o'clock, an announcement was made. We are sorry and all that. Please, you can now board. We are waiting for the pilot. But the pilot eventually arrived. And the pilot is a carpenter. No, listen. We had a carpenter who was father of Christ Jesus. So, look, when he's not a carpenter, he may not be a pilot, but we can assure you.
He will take us to Abuja.
Not only will he take you to Abuja, he will wait and bring you back. Beams, will you join the plane?
Don't ask me on national TV.
Okay. Well, Beams, I will now assume that you will join the plane.
Because there are assurances that he will take me and bring me back.
But I will do one thing. I will say, Beams, I'm not going to join that plane with you because I am not sure. You know, when an accident happens up there,
you're gone.
But I ask you to just put something down, but I'm going to take you for your family. Have you written your will and all that kind of stuff? The point is simple in the analogy that I am making. There's so little things, and this is for the young people who might be listening to me.
Right.
Our election does not count. On the day of elections, we are going to be playing football. On the day of election, that's when I'm going to tell my boyfriend, I'm going to tell my wife and stuff like that. We'll be looking for twins. So let's stay in the inner bedroom to be able to do our work in progress. When you do that, what you have simply done is that you have considered the result of that election to people that perhaps will superintend the affairs of your life for the next 4 years. But you can continue to blame. So the young people also will have to find a way to forgive. It's tough. It's difficult. It's tough to difficult. Whoever is your enemy, okay, whoever is your political enemy today, is this person redeemable? Can you look at this particular person and say you can forgive and give a chance? Again, Ajibola is going to accuse me that I'm part of APC. But, you know, I happen to know that when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came on board, and as we speak today, there are a lot of people in APC who are saying, what kind of president is this? Who are the ones that work for you? You are this and stuff like that. And take one of his poster boys, in government today, my friend, because I know him, okay? He was always, Tijani, he was always going, no, Mr. President and all that. And this president had the good heart and say, irrespective of we being different, please come. Come and serve in my government. Those are some of the things that I believe, in my honest opinion, it's not succeeded in all respects. You also asked me that, opposition, yes, opposition. It's a mirror. There cannot be perfection. And it's also true, Ajibola, what you are hinting at. Should we not just now then take it and say, look, of course we could not have been perfect. Let's even listen to what the younger ones are saying. Let's listen to what the oppositions are saying. Let's look at our economic policies, which I think structurally are in the right direction, and put some kind of compassion. Everything is not going to be on supply and demand. Let us take a gloat that if we didn't do what we needed to do as at that time, with the closure of Hormuz, Strait of Hormuz, Nigeria will have gone sunk under. Look, it is not a time for you to gloat. Yes, we've done it well, but however, our people are suffering. Can we look for a way to now begin to address, beyond NELFON, beyond, can we begin, the strategy paper that just come out, policy documents, reducing tariffs in quite a number of areas. Yeah. Can we find a way to reduce them a little bit much more? And finally, to build trust. Yeah. Everybody is saying the cost of governance is too much. It is your son, it is your wife, it is your daughter, it is this and stuff like that. Let's stop looking at them that these are people who are just not, who are haters. Can we begin to now work more for those people to put capacity and character ahead so that we can begin to build the kind of trust? Yeah. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his ruling government cannot deny, and I don't think I've seen him deny, the fact that as we speak, the spike in insecurity, which people are saying is multi-headed because we are, that's the way we are. Can we begin to also stretch the hands across the Niger and all that? Even if you did it in 2023 and people rebuffed you, you are the president, again? Can you try and try and try again? It doesn't matter if you are being abused. You have demonstrated doing that one way or the other. Can you do it again? Okay. And when you do it again, and the right of refusal is for the opposition to say no, please, let's come together. Let's see what we can do together. Let me do my 4 additional years. Okay, if you don't want me to do 4 additional years, it is incumbent of Mr. President to say, look, can this remain in South? Can you put your acts together? Can you allow a Peter Obi to be the spike in your position? Because that is what I did. No, as president, that's what I did. So can you do that? If they listen to him, good. Okay. If they don't listen to him,
let me take you back to what you raised earlier about the attitude of some eligible voters towards election in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. Some will be playing football, some will be watching films. Would you agree that voters in Nigeria have been shortchanged by the political class in terms of service delivery when it comes to adding value to their lives? They have entrusted these politicians with their votes, and at the end of the day, they did not get what they promised.
Absolutely.
And that has led to voter apathy in the country. People are not really interested again in coming out for elections because when they get there, it's all about themselves.
Ajibola, you are so
what
right.
should change in 2027 for us to push these people, the politicians, on their toes?
I would say what should change is our mindset to be resilient. And I would recommend that young people should go listen to this iconic number done by Fela in his lifetime. He went through hell in the hands of colonial politicians, oppressors. But he came up and now is a hero of the world. He said, when you continue to fear this, I no wan die. Papa dey for house, Mama dey for house. I wan go marry. So somebody will come from behind and slap you, and then you. It is called resilience. Abraham Lincoln went through this so many times, and resilience pays. And I hear you loud and clear, Ajibola. The politicians have let us down. And the only way, unless you want to go for extra political arrangements, when I mean, military coup or, some people call for revolution and stuff like that, forgetting that sometimes when you call for revolution, it may be your friend that you are throwing stone in the marketplace that is going to hit. Stay the course. For the life of me, no matter how robbed that election of 2023 was, I believe a statement was made. A statement was made that somebody can come in and win 6 million votes. And so we could galvanize that movement, shake hands across the Niger. Don't make it sectional, make it all inclusive. Speak truth to yourself first and speak truth to power. Galvanize that with all the bruises. 6 million can now move to about 11 million if you stay the course. But you got in there and saw that the boat was leaking, and the first thing that you are now going to do is to now jump ship. Cannot be leadership. So if as a young man I was brutalized and bruised, I did not die, so we say thank God, Abi. Okay, all right. Because I could have, so many people died. I would say, stand up and rise again. Bob Marley, was it? All right?
Right.
Stay and rise again. Make sure that you are able to replicate the kind of resilience you have in so many others, including youths, both male and female. And at the end of the day, like Fashola, when he was governor of Lagos State, of course he had his own challenge. He did a wonderful thing out there at Oshodi Underbridge. Those of us who know Lagos as Lagos never believed that transformation can come. Right. That transformation came. Or the one that if you are going to the Murtala Mohammed, Oji, the one that was killing people. If you've been there, go and see how that place has been turned into green. My point, therefore, is let's turn challenges to opportunities. Let's it now be, even for the younger ones. Yes, you got that bruise. You got that bruise because of your children or the younger ones who will be able to step on your groan and your pain, be able to get to the glass ceiling. That is the only way. Any other way other than that, you just continue to be oppressed and suppressed.
Okay. As we close this conversation this morning, Mr. Fatunke, the Gale of Defections, we know that, of course, we're just seeing a lot, more people might still, leave their current political parties to realign or join other political parties. But in your opinion, as we close this morning, and based on what you said earlier, that the kind of government we practice is not full democracy, but would you say that this action will strengthen or weaken the type of governments that we practice, briefly, as we go?
Well, in leadership management, we have leaders, we have supervisors, we have managers. We need more of leaders. A leader is not about, I get it all, I must get it all. Right. Okay? It's not a zero-sum game kind of arrangement. And so you can learn to begin to walk before you begin to start to jump, and before you begin to now then say, yes, I've done a poll vote. Leadership about the center and our concentration about leadership about the center is most unfortunate, because the grassroots, which we are now trying to re-engineer, the local governments, your councillors, they are the closest
to the people.
To you. Then you go to your governors who are in charge of land, and they are the ones, they now have more money. So you can also now begin to go through all that kind of place. And I'll tell you something that happened, I think, prior to 2015. It's on record that Nigeria got an array of young people, the Grotoes of this world, the Atuches of this world, the Showores of this world. They all came together, conglomerated, and they were not able to find somebody that would represent them.
Right,
So if you
because
say
they don't
the big ones are doing this,
How about the young ones?
It's become a mindset that we need to find a way to
purge ourselves from.
To change. Yes, I said democracy at the end of the day, you know, anytime I sit with you, Ajibola, I always shake the table. Maybe Ajibola will now know that I'm not a politician. The truth is, at the stage of my own honest opinion, I may be wrong. Nigeria is not configured currently the way it is to succeed as a country. We must find a way, call it restructuring, call it whatever it is. All this cumulative fight for power at the center, so much money goes down the drain, and we'll be looking for who to blame. If it's not going to be INEC, it's going to be the judiciary. Last time it was the religious leaders that we were all looking at. We must say the truth to ourselves and act
The truth.
the Professor Dora Akinyele system. She did this on national television. We have failed. And when you fail as a father, as a mother, as a supervisor, as whatever it is, it's incumbent upon you to say, we failed, stop, and begin to retrace your steps.
Right.
Truth is difficult, but that is the thing. That Nigeria is non-negotiable. It's not a truth that I can relate with going forward 2027, 2031, and subsequently. God help us.
Okay, truth is difficult, but it must be said, is where Akin Fatunke has left this conversation this morning. Thank you so much for always being here. Anytime you're here, I mean, we're always glad to hear from you. Thank you again for sharing your thoughts with us on the program.
But you didn't tell me if you still go to that. Oh, you've changed your mind now. Okay, all right. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to pull your legs.
I know, right?
Thank you so much.
All right, that's the much we'll take on this side of the table this morning. When the conversation returns, Joy will be here with her Lagos conversation. Please stay tuned.